Welcome back. I'm Dr. David, and today we're going to talk about geriatrics. And believe it or not, I am a geriatric patient. Geriatrics is really defined as someone who cares for people beyond the age of 65. And this came about when President Johnson introduced Medicare, because 65 was old. Today, however, 65 is pretty young. And at 72, I am frisky. And in fact, I don't consider myself any different from a 40-year-old. However, as I grow older, I will become more likely to develop an illness, more likely to become frail, and more likely to develop many chronic medical problems. And as I do, the chances are that I will get the best possible care in a senior health clinic. And I'm joined today by Nancy Savella. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, Dr. David.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
And you and I, together, I don't know what my role is. I think I'm medical director now of the Fairlam Senior Clinic, which is devoted to the care of older people. And as far as I'm concerned, once you reach the age of 75 and beyond, the first thing I tell my patients is never, and I mean never, ever, go to the doctor alone. And actually our clinic, isn't it, Nancy, quite like a pediatric clinic. But instead of a parent bringing a child, usually a daughter, brings the parent. So how do we get into the Fairlam Senior Center, and what do you do there?
Well, we actually work with patients 65 and older, and we do comprehensive medical care there. You can do self-referral. We also do memory testing for this area. We work with Dr. Parrish from Little Rock. She's a neuropsychologist, and she comes in every 3 to 4 weeks, and we do the advanced memory testing. And so a lot of times we will get referrals from physicians to come in and have the advanced testing.
You know, a lot of doctors really think, hey, I'm a good doctor. All my patients are older. I can take care of them. And actually, I think there are three major roles that I believe a geriatrician has responsibility for. Number one, to prepare our patients to live long and age well. Live long and age well. And actually, Nancy, the sooner we start, the better. And those are the kinds of patients, I believe, who most benefit from a comprehensive assessment at a younger age that's going to prepare them for how to stay healthy as they grow older. Can you tell me how important is the team in preparing someone to age well and live long? So what resources do you have available other than just medical to help you assure that a healthy person stays healthy?
I think it's very important, and we're very fortunate in our area to have great resources available to us as we get older. And one of the things we do that probably sets us apart as a geriatric clinic is when we assess the patient, we assess their needs. You know, are they at a point in their life where they need someone in the house, maybe to come in and do housekeeping, maybe someone to manage their medicines, or just to check on them once a week, make sure they have everything they need. And so we kind of look at that. When we do the geriatric assessment, we assess their activities of daily living, what their capabilities are, and then what we call independent activities of daily living. And that's such things as like paying their bills, driving, going to the grocery store, and then we try to work with the family if they qualify for certain programs to connect them.
So basically, you're talking about an older person who now may be having problems living independently. And
right.
When you assess them, you really and truly are trying to define if they can still live alone, can they live by themselves, and how do we best assure that their needs are met? And here I can tell you that the group who probably needs Nancy the most are the children of parents who are becoming dependent. And actually here in Mountain Home, you are already developing an experiment for the entire country in the future, because there are very few counties in the United States of America that have as many elderly individuals as Baxter County. And I must tell you, I am so incredibly impressed with Baxter Regional and all the resources they put into the Medicare patients. So if you're a frantic child of a parent who's becoming dependent, or they'll often call up and say, my mom or dad is driving me nuts, they need to see you.
We do, and that's one of the things we really try to be there for the families, because when you're working with older adults, you know, it is important to start to establish that circle of care. Who's going to be involved, who's going to take on what role, and just what's available to help them with that, and the emotional support too.
So here we have, so this is a classic dependent older person who comes to see you. Like someone comes because they are becoming dependent on others to meet their needs. And you can depend on others to meet your needs either because of physical disabilities or because of declines in memory. So I think we're going to try and divide those into two and start off before the break to talk about what you can do for someone who's becoming frail, developing weakness, can't walk as well as they should, has a tendency to fall, and really and truly comes to see you with 9 or 10 medical problems. And you go through, and obviously your role and my role firstly is to correct their medical problems. So we do the best we can to do that. And then, as you have said, you then try and find out what their other needs are. So, say they can't walk well and they're frail. What do you do then?
Well, it depends on, of course, you have to look at the whole picture with the patient. And of course, we look at their medicines to see if there's any medicines that may be contributing to falls. A lot of times we do balance testing usually when we first assess a patient. And then we look to see if maybe physical therapy might be beneficial. Of course, exercise. A lot of people become very sedentary as they age, and if one thing I could really encourage is to keep moving for us.
Keep moving.
Yes.
You know what, I can tell you at 72, one of the biggest problems I have is that I haven't prepared to be 72. I'm a guilty geriatric person because my interest is my work, teaching, and being on TV like this. I just love it. But when I'm at home, when I have nothing to do, I sit. And I'm sure that's not good for me. So often we see people who are deconditioned. They're sit at home, they haven't moved, and the more you sit, the worse you become. Or alternatively, someone may have had a fall, may have muscle loss, may have problems with their veins, and they really and truly don't walk well. They just eagle along. How important is physical therapy in helping them begin to become more physically active?
I have found that physical therapy is very beneficial. Many times we have been able to help people make that first step to recovery and to gain back some of their strength. And we're also, this area offers a lot of free good exercise programs for our older adults. And so once we get them moving, usually with physical therapy, we try to recommend them to get into an exercise program. And so I think physical therapy can be a very important aspect.
So we can refer, and Medicare pays for it, right?
It does in most cases. You have to kind of look at the situation and what we're treating them for.
So here's what I find to be such a dilemma, is that I often see, and we see, patients who really and truly are deconditioned. And we sent them to a physical therapist, and they learn the important exercises. And by the way, That includes, number 1, stretch every day. Number 2, balance. If you have no balance, you're going to fall. Number 3, exercising with weights to build muscle, because the more muscle you have, the better you'll walk. And number 4 is aerobic activity. Get your heart and lung moving, and that in turn will prolong your life. So someone finishes, and then they say, well, I'm finished my physical therapy. I'm going to sit again. So what kind of resources are available for a frail older person or a person who's had difficulty getting stronger, who's completed their physical therapy and now needs to continue that, or else?
Well, we have several programs. The Muruck Family Education Center on Aging offers fitness for men. They also offer strong women exercises, as well as our area senior center has several exercise programs, and those are all free. A lot of times, some of the insurances will pay for silver sneakers that are available at some of the local health clubs. And so there's that opportunity. We just got to motivate them to go and participate.
I think that's critically important, that people truly understand that exercise is the key to longevity. The more you exercise, the better you're going to be. Exercise, exercise, and exercise. We'll be right back.